Hello and welcome again, race fans. Here we are again, back on Red Bull Ring Austria, and we are going to watch the second race of the first weekend of the Renault Clio Cup Bohemia here in Styria, here in this beautiful home of the Austrian Formula 1 Grand Prix. But I believe this will be again even more exciting than a Formula 1 race, because if you've been watching the first race of the weekend together with us, I believe you can say I'm right about it. It was a massive race and massive battle for the first place, mostly because Tomasz Pekkarz and the Polish drivers, and I believe we're gonna have the same scenario here for the final race of the weekend. So we are ready on the starting grid for the second race of the first racing weekend of the Renault Clio Cup Bohemia, and our reigning champion Tomasz Pekkarz behind the wheel of his orange car with number 1 will be starting from the second place this time. We do have Reto Wist on pole position behind the wheel of his car number 48. In the second row it is Nico Wist in P3, just next to Alexander Spetz. He will be starting from the fourth place. No, and here is number 96, Bartolomiej Mirecki. This time it will be start from the 8th place for the Polish driver. And I still owe you the final results of the first race, because as I said just after the checkered flag, there were some penalties given, and Tomasz Pekkarz, the driver who was first on the line, was given 4 seconds time penalty for the track limits, which means that Tomasz Pekkarz took 7th place in the first race. And it was Bartolomiej Mirecki who was promoted to the first place after all. So the Bartolomiej Mirecki won the race number 1, and he will be starting from the 8th place to the second race of the weekend. As you can see, it will be a wet race again, so the same case like we had in the previous race of the Formula 4 Central European Zone Championship. But I've been checking the outside. I went out from my commentary box, and I can tell you that I felt no more raindrops on my face. So I believe that the racing line will be drying out very quickly, and the race should be ending on dry track. But let's wait and see. We are ready to release the cars to the formation lap, and it will be another 25 minutes of racing action here on Red Bull Ring under the hills of the Austrian Alps. Here we are, let's go for the formation lap. So it was Bartolomiej Mirecki who won the first race, and after all it was Julian Smiechowski in a P2 and Nikodem Sobczyk in P3. So after the penalties were given, these 3 drivers were on the podium: Mirecki P1, Smiechowski P2, Sobczyk P3. And we are ready to go again here on Red Bull Ring, and I believe it is gonna be another great battle between the Czech driver Tomasz Pekkarz and mostly his Polish opponents. We also saw some really hard racing between Pekkarz and Mirecki in the first race. Mirecki was pushing Pekkarz away from the track multiple times, so it was also very hard for the Renault Clio cars. But both drivers are able to start into the second race, and that's the main news for all of us. If I take a look at the results from the last year, I can tell you that Bartolomiej Mirecki scored 2 third places here on Red Bull Ring last year. So this was a good start of the season for the Polish driver, as he didn't win the race here last year, but he has already won one of the two races here on Red Bull Ring this year. So it's a great progress by Bartek Merecki, the championship runner-up from the last year. And it seems to me that again it will be mostly between Bartek Merecki and Tomáš Pekař in the championship title fight. At the end of the last season, Tomáš Pekař was crowned the champion with 221 points to his name. Bartek Merecki lost 8 points to Pekař, but I need to say that Tomáš Pekař won the championship title even though he was not present at Slovakia Ring. So he missed 2 races and still won the championship title. So it was absolutely wonderful year done by Tomáš Pekař. But anyway, here we are again, and the drivers are already looking after their starting positions. Here we are back on the starting grid, and again we do have 24 cars ready and 24 drivers ready to take a part in the second race. Reto Vist will be on the pole position. Tomáš Pekař right next to him, starting from P2. Row number 2, it is Nico Vist starting from the 3rd place. Next to him, Alexander Spets starting from P3. Round number 3, it is Oskar Marszalkowski starting from the 5th place, and Nikodem Sobczyk starting from 6th. Row number 4, it is Julian Smiechowski, so he will be starting from P7 this time, and again he will be fighting for another podium finish. And of course I can say the same about the second driver in the 4th row, who is of course Bartłomiej Merecki, the winner of the first race. So we are ready to start the second race of the weekend here on Red Bull Ring. Lights are out and we are racing again, and it was a great starting reaction done by Tomáš Pekař, who is trying to take the lead already, and yes, he is in the lead. So it was a great start of the race by Tomáš Pekař, the reigning champion from the Czech Republic. So Tomáš Pekař is in the lead ahead of Reto Vist. Great starting reaction by the Czech driver, and back then down in the order we do have a 3-wide battle, and it was one of the Janik Motorsport cars, I believe, so it could be Julian Smiechowski trying to gain some positions. Here we have a look at the field again. The field is being led by the orange car of Tomáš Pekař. The Czech driver is there just ahead of Reto Vist, and we do have a red car behind Reto Vist. It could be Alexander Spets there, but let's wait for the live timing. Pekař in the lead. Great first lap done by the Czech driver, and here we do have the fight for the other position. Again, one of the Janik Motorsport cars in the battle for 4th place at the moment. So it could be Oskar Marszalkowski. And here we have a number 68, that's Julian Smiechowski, also trying to gain some places back on the main straight, so we can check on the results. Tomáš Pekař is leading the way, Reto Vist in P2, Bartłomiej Merecki already in 3rd place. Also great lap done by Bartłomiej Merecki. And here we have a fight for the 5th place. That was Alexander Spets overtaking Nico Vist, which means Alexander Spetz gained 1 position and he is in P5 at the moment. Great overtaking maneuver by the Drago Racing driver. Again, free wide into the 3rd corner, but Tomasz Pekarz didn't see that fight. He is up in the front and he is working on his advantage. He's gaining the advantage over Retovist, and the other drivers, including Bartolomiej Morecki and Julian Smiechowski. So again, we do have these 2 Polish drivers together fighting for the positions. There is Bartolomiej Morecki with car number 96. So Bartolomiej Morecki is already in P2. Great job so far by Morecki. And again, the target for Morecki is absolutely clear. He wants to chase down Tomasz Pekarz and fight with him for the race victory today. It could be the 2nd win of the day for Bartolomiej Morecki if he chased down the Czech driver and managed to overtake him. Still 21 minutes to go, still plenty of time for Morecki. The crucial for him is the fact that he made his progress through the field very soon, so he is in a good position for fighting and for going quickly after Tomasz Pekarz. But last lap around, it was Tomasz Pekarz who was fastest driver on the track. Fastest lap of the race so far done by Tomasz Pekarz, 1:52.04. Great lap done by Tomasz Pekarz. You can see the wipers on, so maybe there is some rain in the 3rd corner of the race. So the Mother Nature is adding some drama into this race, and it's a great fight for the 2nd place between Bartolomiej Morecki and Julian Smiechowski. Smiechowski is going for the inside line, and we do have new driver in P2. It is Julian Smiechowski at the moment. He overtook Morecki, and there is also Retovist and Alexander Spetz behind these 2 drivers. Still the fight is going on. A great job by Morecki, who is retaking his 2nd place now. Smiechowski was going there from the outside, but that was the disadvantage for him. Morecki had a better racing line, so... Oh, no, we have 2 cars off the track. It's number 97. That is Matic Bresa, the racer from Slovenian team Lema Racing. And I believe there was a contact with some other driver, because originally we did have 2 cars off the track. So no, it was the driving mistake done by Matic Brescia, who lost the car and spun around off into the gravel zone, and then he was touched by the other driver because he crossed this way. So it was a racing mistake, it was a driver's mistake there, and fortunately the race is still green. So we are waiting what will be the reaction from the race directory, because we do have a car in the gravel zone, and this is a safety car. Yes, absolutely. There must be a safety car on track, and now you can see what happened there. So the Slovenian driver has spun around, he went off into the gravel zone, and he's stuck there. So there is some work for the race marshals to move the car away from the gravel zone, and that only means the race had to be neutralized. And you can see the grey clouds over the Red Bull Ring, so it is actually quite possible that the rain is increasing its intensity in some parts of the racetrack, mostly around the third corner. The third corner is actually far away from the main straight and the paddock, so it's quite possible that we do have a no rain on the main straight at the moment, but we do have a rain around the third corner at the same time. So these are very tricky conditions for all the drivers, and we still do have 17 minutes to go. So nothing has been decided yet, and both Polish drivers are there again, very closely behind leading driver Tomasz Piekarz. So again, we might have great battle for the first place between Tomasz Piekarz, Julian Smiechowski and Bartłomiej Morecki. I believe this time all the drivers will be extremely careful with breaching the track limits, because as I mentioned already, we did have some penalties given after the first race. Most importantly, there was a time penalty for Tomasz Piekarz. So that's the reason why he actually lost his first place in the first race. So we saw the car of Matic Brescia from the Slovenian team Lema Racing being pushed away from the gravel zone. So I hope this is the last lap for the safety car and we will be racing again soon. But we still don't have the confirmation from the race control that safety car should go back into the pits. So let's wait and see. At the moment we are still under the safety car procedure after the driver's mistake done by the Slovenian driver Matic Brescia here on Red Bull Ring. Still 15 minutes to go, and we are expecting more drama here on Red Bull Ring, and I can't see the safety car anymore, which means the safety car driver has picked up the pace. Oh no, there's the safety car still ahead of Piekarz, so no, we still do have the safety car procedure and still no information from the race director. So at last one more lap behind the safety car for all the drivers here. So we will have, I believe, less than 12 minutes of green flag racing after the safety car will enter the pit lane again. Well, you can see that some drivers are using their wipers and the other drivers are not. But I can also see the marshals covering themselves under the umbrellas here around the third corner. So actually, yes, this might be the place with the heaviest rain at the moment. And I believe that we couldn't wish for more, actually. We do have our top 3 drivers on top 3 places, plus we have some rain in some parts of the racetrack. So everything is set for the great show in the final laps. Safety car in this lap. So the safety car driver will enter the pit lane at the end of this lap. And finally, we will be racing again here on the Red Bull Ring. It's absolutely beautiful racing facility, not only for the drivers, but also for all the journalists, commentators and all the staff. You can see the amount of investments that have been made by the Red Bull when the Austrian company bought the circuit. Right now it is one of the most advanced racing tracks in the world, and we are ready for some more racing here in this beautiful racing facility. We do have a green flag again. Less than 12 minutes to go, and Tomáš Pékař is still the leader of the race. Tomáš Pékař had a great start from the second place. He managed to overtake Retovist immediately. Even before the first turn, he was there ahead of Retovist, and since then he has been leading the race. Still in the lead, Tomáš Pékař, but closely behind him we can see Smiechowski. And Smiechowski is trying to find his way from the outside. This is the first attack done by Smiechowski on Pékař in this race. 11 minutes to go. And I can tell you this will be exciting. Exciting 11 minutes to watch. So it is another battle, side by side. Smiechowski versus Pékař. Smiechowski has the inside line now, so he is in a good position to overtake Tomáš Pékař. But he is quick at the exit, and he went too wide, and we have another car off the track in the gravel zone. Fortunately, the driver, unlike Matic Presa, didn't stuck in there, so we still have a green race, and the battle is on. Smiechowski is putting Pékař under huge pressure here, and we also have Bartolomiej Mirecki on the party, of course. So it is Mirecki ahead of Smiechowski now. Another great battle for the race victory here on Red Bull Ring. So Bartolomiej Mirecki, the winner of the first race, is currently in P2 in his white Renault Clio Cup car, number 96. Here we are again on the main straight with less than 10 minutes to go. Tomáš Pékař needs to be defensive here, so he is choosing the inside line for the first corner. He doesn't want to leave any space, but even though he does, and there is a space for Bartolomiej Mirecki, who is the new leader of the race at the moment, but it should be a free wide battle for the first place on the straight from the first to third corner. And this should be a great situation also for Julian Smiechowski. He wants to go through between the two cars, but he slows down rather. He didn't want to risk a collision, so he will try it again later. Still 9 minutes to go for all the drivers, so plenty of time to attack. Mirecki is in the lead ahead of Pékař. And he makes a mistake! Bartolomiej Mirecki went off the track into the gravel zone, so the Pékař is back in the lead. And it is Julian Smiechowski now in the second place, just ahead of Mirecki. Wow, that's a shame for Mirecki, because he has been leading the race and made a mistake. I believe there was no contact between him and Tomáš Pékař. He was just too wide at the exit from that corner, so he went into the gravel zone. But fortunately for him, he was able to rejoin the race, so we are still going green with 8 minutes to go, again on the main straight of the Red Bull Ring. Tomáš Pékař in the lead. This time around, it's a much safer situation for him. there was nobody going for the inside line, but now he has to be careful because Julian Smiechowski was really quick out of the first corner, and now he goes from the slipstream and trying to find his way from the outside into the third corner. Nice switchback done by Smiechowski, and he is trying to have the inside line for the following corner. So it should be Julian Smiechowski in the lead of the race with 7 minutes to go. Yes, he goes for the inside with his Yannick Motorsport car. Very typical colors for Yannick Motorsport, with red and white, and of course with Orlen stickers on the car. And we can see these colors very well right now because Julian Smiechowski is leading the race with his car, and also Bartolomiej Mirecki is back. So Bartolomiej Mirecki is back after his mistake, and he is again there fighting Tomasz Pekasz for P2 at the moment. Plus we do have Nikodem Sobchik behind these three drivers. So also Nikodem Sobchik is joining the party, and it is another Polish driver who wants to fight for the podium here in this race. And again, Tomasz Pekasz needs to be defensive, so he is keeping his inside line on the main straight into the first corner. Mirecki is going to try it from the outside, and it could be almost free wide into the first corner. Why? My goodness. Do not try this here. The first corner is just too narrow for going free wide. But anyway, Nikodem Sobchik is there, and definitely we do have 4 drivers fighting for the podium, and also there's a warning for car number 26 for breaching the track limits. That's Oskar Marszalkowski, currently in P7, and that's the second driver racing for Yannick Motorsport, so we do have a track limits warning for Oskar Marszalkowski, who needs to be careful during the remaining 5 minutes to avoid a penalty for breaching the track limits. But who is gonna be winner there? Smiechowski in the lead with Bartolomiej Mirecki behind him. There are almost no gaps, and we do have another car off the track, and I believe that was, I guess, Filip Bartosz, because he was there just ahead of Oskar Marszalkowski, and I saw Oskar Marszalkowski in a Yannick Motorsport car overtaking the yellow Clio, going off the track into the gravel zone. So most likely that was a mistake done by Filip Bartosz. But anyway, let's focus on the front. Julian Smiechowski has no gap between himself and Bartolomiej Mirecki. Plus, Mirecki has no gap between himself and Tomasz Pekasz, so it is another nose-to-tail battle for the second place between Mirecki and Pekasz is going for the inside line into the first corner, and this should be the overtaking maneuver, and there is another slight contact between the two cars. Tomasz Pekasz is trying to keep this racing line because he knows he gonna have the inside for the third corner, which of course gives him the advantage in the battle for the second place between him and Bartolomiej Mirecki. Yes, here we are into the third corner. Pekasz goes for the inside. He takes the he takes the second place at the moment. And also look at Nikodem Sobchik, the Polish driver driving the car number 777, racing for Nikos Racing. He is there very close behind Bartolomiej Mirecki. And Nikodem Sobchik is still waiting for the opportunity, and the opportunity is here and now, because Tomasz Pekasz made a mistake. He went off into the gravel zone again, and he lost 2 places. That means we do have Bartolomiej Mirecki in P2 and Nikodem Sobchik in P3 at the moment. So it is another change. We also have a track limits warning for number 10. That's Luka Glaser, racing in P14 at the moment. And also another warning for car number 10. That is, yes, Luca Glaser again. So warning for breaching the track limits. So drivers should be careful there again. Most of all at the exit from the last corner, because there is a huge tarmac zone painted with the Austrian flag, and it is really easy to went off the track and break the track limits. So drivers needs to be careful to avoid any penalties in the remaining 2 minutes of the race. Smiechowski in the lead, Merecki in P2, Sobchik in P3, and this could be a free wide battle into the third corner for the second place. It's another battle wheel to wheel between Merecki and Sobchik, and of course Tomasz Pekarz could take the advantage from this battle of his two Polish rivals. Yes, he is overtaking Nikodem Sobchik now. So we do have Tomasz Pekarz back on the podium. He takes the P3. This time he was really careful at the exit from turn number 4. He didn't go off into the gravel zone this time, so good for him. He managed to stay on the track. And I do believe at this really difficult race, also talking about the grip, because we definitely have some wet places on the track, so it is very difficult for all the drivers. And now it is Smiechowski who is making the mistake at the exit from the last corner. He went really far away from the racetrack, so another going off the track limits for Smiechowski, and now he may lose his first place because there is a contact between him and Bartolomiej Merecki. So Smiechowski, he was pushed away from the racetrack, but somehow he is still in the lead, and behind him all of a sudden it is Tomasz Pekarz in the second place. And behind Pekarz, it's a great battle between Merecki and Sobchik for the second place. Sobchik going from the outside on Merecki, plus behind these two cars we do have Filip Bartosz, the second racer for Carpex Service, the teammate of Tomasz Pekarz. So Filip Bartosz is already also joining the party, and we do have Tomasz Pekarz in the lead. Great maneuver in the last lap. Tomasz Pekarz overtook Julian Smiechowski, but he's trying to retake the first place out of the fifth corner. Another great battle for the race win here on Red Bull Ring, and it is again between Pekarz, Smiechowski and Merecki. Now it is close battle between Merecki and Smiechowski, and Merecki pushed Smiechowski out of the track. So we do have Bartolomiej Merecki in the second place, Nikodem Sobchik in P3, and Julian Smiechowski in P4. Behind these two four cars, we have Filip Bartosz in P5. Maybe he's eating some popcorn behind the wheel because he has a great show just ahead of his front windshield. But anyway, here we are on the main straight again. The checkered flag is out, and Tomasz Pekarz is victorious this time, and I believe he will maintain his victory because there is no penalty for Tomasz Pekarz this time. So yes, Tomasz Pekarz is the race winner. He overtook Julian Smiechowski in the last lap of the race, and it was a great showcase of driving skills by Tomasz Pekarz. Great victory for the Czech driver, great victory for the reigning champion. Bartolomiej Merecki this time finishing the race in P2, Nikodem Sobchik in P3. It was the fourth place for Julian Smiechowski, and the second Carpex Service driver Filip Bartosz finished the race in P5. Then we got Alexander Spets in P6, Oskar Marszalkowski in P7, Nikovist just ahead of Retovist, P8 and P9 for two other Carpex service drivers. Katarzyna Telikowska also racing for Carpex service. She finished the race in P10. Then it was Micha Primožič in P11, Ivan Prantner on P12, Luka Glaser in P13, Diana Robida in P14, Filip Civok finishing the race in P15, Walter Nežic in P16, Xavery Osolinska-Neryotka on P17, P18 for Jan Raška, 19th position for Christoph Cox, P20 for Tomislav Jaklin, 21st place for Vladimir Jaklin, 22nd place for Ivan Gustin, and 23rd place for Petr Palotas. Only Matic Prescia was unable to finish the race as he stuck in the gravel zone, and after his collision we did have the only safety car procedure of this race. So what a great show again in Renault Clio Cup Bohemia. It was great second race of the weekend, and I can invite you to follow the championship even after the opening weekend. Next time we're gonna see each other on Slovakia ring. The season continues on 8th of June. So see you all in Slovakia.